Okay, we're on project number 8-2, and the very first thing that we need to do is pull up concession.xlsx, and we are going to create some spark lines, and we want them to fall in range H5 through H10. We're going to go to Insert, Spark Lines. Let's choose Line, and we want our data range to be games 1, 2, 3, and 4, all the way down from hot dogs to drinks. So let's hit enter, say OK, and we have a spark line for each one of these individual pieces of data. Now let's put high markers on here. So we're going to choose high point, and we will then see that there is a high point block at the top of each one. And then we're going to use a style called Sparkline Style Dark Number 3. It only took me 10 minutes to find it. It's down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth row, third column in. And we get red dots at the top of each one of our high points. Okay, let's insert a header with your name and the current date. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a chart, and we want it to be a clustered column chart that's embedded in 2D. Embedded just means that it's in this particular page and not on its own sheet. So the data range that we want to choose is going to be A4 through E10. And we're going to go to Insert, Column. Let's choose the very first option, which is a 2D column chart. And our column is now here. Let's move it so it fits right underneath our data. And the next thing it wants us to do is go ahead and have this chart put on a sheet by itself. So we'll choose Move Chart into a new sheet, and let's call it Column Chart. Say OK. And now we have a column chart in its own column, or in its own page. Okay, with the chart selected, let's choose a layout format. So let's look under Chart Layouts, choose Layout number 1. Let's go to Chart Styles, and let's apply style number 35. So we'll choose More Options. 35 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows down, 3 columns over. And let's change the chart title to read Concession Sales. Okay, next let's put a title over here that says Sales in Dollars. So if you remember how to do that, we'll go to Axis Titles, and we'll choose Primary Vertical Axis Title and Rotated, and type in Sales in Dollars. And that will represent the dollar amounts over here on the left hand side. Okay, while it is selected, I like to highlight it personally because then I know I've actually got it. So let's highlight Sales in Dollars, and let's increase the size to 14 points. We'll do that under Home, 14 points, so it's a little bit bigger. And let's make it bold, which it actually is already bold. Okay, next we want to move the legend that's on the far right hand side so it sits right underneath the title. To do that, we want to be under Chart Tools and Layout, and then let's choose our legend, and let's put it Show Legend at the top. And there it is. And then let's also change it to a 12 point. It's at 10 right now. Let's make it 12 point. Okay, next we're going to change the background of our chart. It's a dark blue right now. It doesn't stand out very much from the data bars here. So let's right click, Format Plot Area. Let's choose a solid fill option, and under color, let's choose a white background one with a darker 15%. And then let's say close. So now we have a grayish background against our blue data points. Okay, go ahead and save this, and you can print it if you like. Since this is the end of Chapter 8, we're going to be putting together our packets for Chapters 5 through 8. So you can either print now or you can print later whenever you do it all together. Okay, so next we're going to go on to Project 8-3. Okay, save this as runtimes followed by your initials, and insert an embedded line chart with markers in the worksheet. So if you remember how to do that, we'll use the data from A5 through B14. We'll go to Insert, and we'll do a line, and then we want to choose the one that has the markers on it. The first one does not have markers, it's just a line. The second one does. And now we have our embedded line graph or line chart. Okay, let's change the style of this to number 39, and we'll do that under Design and Chart Styles, More Chart Styles, and let's find number 39. Looks like it's this one right here. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take out the word week under each one of these numbers at the bottom. There's too many numbers or too many words down at the bottom. We just want it to say 1, 2, 3 through 10, and then we'll actually put in a title that says weeks or week. So we need to take the word week out of each one of these, and the way I like to do it is just to put in a 1 and a 2 and then highlight the 1 and the 2 and then copy it down, and it'll fill in through 10 for us. I start with 1 and 2 so it sees the pattern that I'm looking for, and then it'll smart copy all the way down, and we'll notice that the numbers 1 through 10 are all that apply on our chart. Okay, but we want to insert an axis label at the bottom and on the side. So let's select our chart. Sorry, just select it once so that we have our chart tools at the top. And then let's go to our Design tab, and let's pick a chart layout that has an axis 1 and 2, but no chart title. So that would be the second one down in the column. So now we have an axis title here and an axis title here. Let's double click here and change this axis title to say time in minutes. And then let's change this axis title to say week. Next, let's take our chart and drag it to where it starts in C4. So we'll put it about right there. So the top left is going to start in C4, and let's have the edge of it on the far right hand side end at K19. And drop. Okay, so your chart should be in this position, and go ahead and hit save. Let's move on to Project 8-6. Open up your study document. It should look like this, and let's embed a scatter chart with only markers. Now in order to do that, we are going to choose our data range and insert and scatter, and we want scatter with only markers, and then we want to move the chart to its own sheet. So let's move it to a new sheet, and let's call it scatter chart. Say OK, and go ahead and save this document as study and grades with your initials. Okay, we're going to add a chart title. So let's go to layout and chart title, and let's choose above chart, and here let's type in relationship between study time and test grades. Relationship between study time and test grades, and enter. Okay, we need to insert an axis label to the left. Well, before we do that, we're gonna actually let's change the font size of the title to 20 points. So highlight it and home, change to 20. Okay, and then let's go back to layout and let's insert an axis title. We're going to choose the primary vertical one first and then rotate it. And this will represent our test grades. And then we also need to add a title at the bottom, title below axis, and this will represent the hours of study. And let's change that to 14 points. And let's choose test grades and change that one to 14 as well. Okay, so it doesn't look like we actually have to highlight the letters to get the whole thing to change to 14. Okay, let's delete the legend if you haven't already done that. I may have done it earlier. Okay. Oh, the legend for me is down here, so I'm going to highlight it and hit delete. Okay, our minimum value for test grades should be probably around 50 because we have zero data between 0 and 50. There's nothing down here. So let's change this legend on the left so that we start at the number 50. And I like to do it the quick way by double-clicking on this axis area over here, and then our axis options allow us to put in a fixed minimum, and let's choose 50. So now we start with 50, we end with 100. Okay. The higher the study time, the higher the grades. Okay, next let's go on to